Hello friends, my name's Joseph, and you're watching the ASMR Critique. Welcome back to the fourth and final part of our playthrough of new Pokemon Snap for the Nintendo Switch. As you can see right now, I'm just scrolling through all the different requests. We've just unlocked a few levels, and we are nearing what I would call the kind of climax of the game. If you're just tuning in and only have time to watch one of the other parts of the playthrough, I would most highly recommend part 3. Not just because it has some of the more interesting conversation, but because it's the most eventful part. I unlock like a new stage almost every run. I still haven't been able to get that one. The Aerodactyl. So for this one, I probably have to throw a fluff fruit in just the right spot.
Thanks.
So as in the other parts, my commentary is recorded after the fact. I apologize for the sort of low quality recordings in part 2. I was trying something different with the encoding. Part 3 I think came out pretty high quality, and I'll try and export it with the same settings for this video. A friend had also commented that my voice was a little too low as compared to the in-game audio, so I'll try and do something about that. He's trying to go after that little Piplup. Good thing there isn't an Empoleon nearby. That Mightyena would not want to mess with an Empoleon. Or is it Empoleon? Like Napoleon? Was that a pun that just like flew over my head for years? Wouldn't be the first time. Speaking of water starters, you know who doesn't get nearly enough love? Totodile. Yeah, I said it. Totodile and Feraligatr and whatever that second evolution was. Love the stars. Can you imagine if they buffed the lighting engine in this game? Just how gorgeous it would look. Flash forward to new Pokemon Snap remastered 10 years later. With like one new stage. Missed it by a country mile. So if you wait, that Mightyena will go up to the edge and howl. And there you go. That is a side quest fulfilled. Just gotta remember to pick the right photo later. Look at these candy corn looking Pokemon. Why are y'all outside shivering? Just get in a cave or something.
Oh, really?
Delibird on the left. And he's gonna run into that cave on the right. With the right timing, you can get a good sneak peek at him. There is a Krista Bloom there, and you can get those Jinx to dance. I think they're having a dance-off. And is the Vanilla like their judge or something? Not quite getting the dynamic here. That's so cute, they're racing. I'm a little bummed we get the Alolan Vulpix, but we don't get a Glaceon. Or Vaporeon. Not that I've seen yet. Dang, I didn't get a single photo of that Abomasnow.
It's time.
Just off center. Ain't that a shame? Okay. Barely visible.
Let's do this.
Get on with it, man.
Perfect timing.
4 stars.
Nice work.
Easy peasy. So the one with the Piplups,
Nice work.
later on in the game is kind of a spoiler. You get a turbo boost. I think that would probably be helpful in
Nice work.
getting a better shot of them
Nice work.
doing their little race.
Perfect timing. Nice work.
All right.
Nice work.
That Alolan Vulpix reminds me of this group of scientists. I think they were Russian scientists in Siberia, and they were trying to domesticate silver foxes, trying to see how far they could domesticate them. And apparently, they were like the perfect mix of like the best qualities in a cat and a dog. And I remember online, they had so many of them from the experiment. They were like trying to get people to adopt them. And I remember seeing this on the internet, and I was like, man, what I wouldn't give so that I could adopt a silver fox.
Wow.
Word reaches her quickly. There's only 4 people in that lab.
You mind?
Did one of the Pokemon tell Rita? Did the professor forget that he told her? Okay.
Just now. I can't wait.
Nighttime research at the beach. Well, it's about time. Anyhow, silver foxes, right? Just look them up online. I don't know if they're still, like, I mean, you had to pay, I think it was a couple $1,000 maybe, and then, you know, you've got to get the right import license and whatever. But oh man, the pictures and the videos and the testimonials from people who have had these silver foxes as pets, just incredible. Yeah, if I was to have one of those, you know, exotic or bizarre pets, probably be a silver fox or a red panda. I'm just reminded of this video of this lady in Japan who's living in this like super tiny apartment. You know, no offense if you're Japanese and you live in one of those super tiny apartments, by Western standards, all right, they're pretty small, American standards at least. But she had, I am not kidding you, like 5 red pandas just running around. Gengar. And Gligar? No, that is Crobat. Alright, Crobat's cool and all, but man, there's gotta be a Gligar in here, right? No? Only room for 2 purple Pokemon? This level is gorgeous. It reminds me of the Carlsbad Caverns. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. My wife and I made a road trip of it. We drove from Phoenix to Orlando, Florida with a giant U-Haul. And we drove all through New Mexico, Santa Fe, Roswell, Carlsbad. Saw the meteor crater, petrified forest, painted desert, the Alamo. Gotta get those guys to turn around. Anyway, Carlsbad Caverns was definitely the highlight of our road trip. I didn't want to leave that place. Alright, that's kind of adorable. Did that say Geodude? Alright. Scan that thing. Rare gemstones. Sorry, Professor, I'm losing you. Signal's bad. Alright, is there a Madtalk in here? Pick. I don't know about you guys. I'm gonna get paid for all my photography work. Don't turn away from me. Food. The great motivator. See, the best shot would be probably 2 of them side by side eating. Maybe they react to the song? There's got to be an alternate pathway somewhere in here. Well, at least he didn't fall to his death. Rip Graveler in part 3. I'll never forget that Graveler. I'm gonna wake up cold sweats. I'm just thinking about that thing burning alive. Ah, just missed the optimal photo there. That's why.
Welcome back. Let's do this. A new discovery. Nice work.
Joltik is a pretty funny idea for a Pokemon. It's like a tick that absorbs static electricity from other Pokemon.
Nice work.
So it's weird to me that it's on its own and not on the back of another
A new
Pokemon.
discovery. Nice work.
But hey,
Nice work. Nice work.
I don't even know what that one is. It looks like a beach ball.
A new discovery. Nice work.
Aw, Sableye, how adorable. And they fear these Pokemon. Apparently their eyes glow red in the dark, like they're gonna suck your soul out. I guess that's the idea. They were wanted to go against the grain of the Pokedex entry and make it look really cute. So I can commend them on that. That's kind of funny. You know, dark / ghost type, but it's actually adorable. 10 poison types. I feel so accomplished. Let's see if there's any keepers in here. That Crobat is straight jammin'. He looks like he's about to fly right into Ozzy Osbourne's mouth. Sorry, most kids are not gonna get that joke. Apparently Ozzy bit a bat's head off on stage live. It was in 1982, part of his solo tour. And you know, a lot of those rockers did some pretty crazy things back in the day, but get this, a lot of it was actually like staged and set up. There's a film called Super Mensch, The Legend of Shep Gordon. It was made in 2013, and it was directed by Mike Myers, you know, Austin Powers. And it's about this guy, Shep Gordon. Most people have never heard of him, but he was like the biggest talent manager. He basically created what we know of as like, you know, sort of the darker, edgier side of rock and roll.
Wow, the ocean is just as pretty at night.
Anyway, the documentary
I wonder
is
what the
utterly
Pokemon are
fascinating.
doing.
I don't want to spoil too much. Alice Cooper is on it, and he just like gushes about this guy, all the things that he pioneered and nobody knows about. Man, Zangoose is so cool. I'm gonna have to settle for this Drifblim. I hope that's a good shot.
Awesome!
Was a little off on my framing there. Zangoose turned around, but I missed it. That was good. Full body, middle of the frame. Illumina Orb. But what's interesting about that movie is you see the role of the talent manager and the producer and just how important that is. You know, talent, you can find millions and millions of people with talent. John Taylor Gatto, in his book, Dumbing Us Down, The Hidden Curriculum of Compulsory Schooling, once said that genius is as common as dirt. It's the schooling system that sort of trains it out of us. We're taught to be standardized. Anyhow, I highly recommend his books. That's so cute. That Pokemon was waving hi. Or calling for help? Can't tell. I feel like there should be something hidden in there. Or not? Of course there's a Magikarp. There's always a Magikarp. Now, to see one evolve into a Gyarados, that would be a treat. Just can't get that Crystal Bloom. Oh, I missed it. I hit the wrong button. I'll be back. Oh. No? Okay. Let's see what I missed over there. Oh, okay. I could have got a Zangoose. Corsola over there. Oh, I forgot to post Happy Star Wars Day. Technically, yesterday was Star Wars Day. I'm recording this on the 4th. Oh man, I bet that Octillery's face would have been great. He's just like dashing away. It's alright, dude. It's alright. I mean, he did just get spooked by a ghost Pokemon, so it's kinda understandable. Alright, that was one of the funniest moments of the game so far for me.
Hello. Let's do this. Nice work. A new discovery. Great timing. A new discovery. Nice work. Nice work.
Funny to me that both Zangoose and Seviper are here.
Discovery. Nice work.
They're not supposed to be in the same region. You know, kind of like one is in one version, one's in the other version kind of thing.
Perfect timing.
Some trainer must have collected them both and set them loose on this island.
Great timing.
Nah, I'm setting all my Pokemon free for no reason at all.
A new discovery. Nice work. A new discovery.
I'm gonna be a little sad if Scyther isn't in this game.
Nice work.
One of my favorite Pokemon.
Nice work.
Just a little bit. Most of my favorites are first gen, actually. Scyther, Charizard, Blastoise. Actually, I think I like Squirtle more than Blastoise. Electabuzz is pretty cool. Goodra. Garchomp. Greninja might be up there. Emboar. Emboar was the fire pig starter.
Hey!
Whoa!
Misdreavus. Skarmory. Steelix. Scizor. Gyarados. Lapras.
Good luck.
Tyranitar. Aegislash. Porygon Z. Oh, how could I forget the legendaries? I just keep forgetting legendaries because, you know, you can't use them in teams. Lugia. Favorite legendary. Probably Entei and Suicune are up there. Raikou, I could care less. Entei's just got a soft spot in my heart ever since the third Pokemon movie. Guess I could rank the Pokemon movies too. Although I've only seen probably 6 or 7 of them. I think number 1 I would definitely have to say the first Pokemon movie. Mew and Mewtwo, that's just a timeless story. And then, you know, Pokemon 3, Pokemon 2000, then the 4th film. After that, it's kind of hard to rank them. It's more like just they have individual like cool moments. Oh, the one with Lucario was pretty good. Oh, would have been nice if I caught that a little earlier. Oh, favorite Pokemon, duh, Go-Go and Skittle, of course. It's because I used to raise goats. I was like, finally, they have a goat Pokemon. They should have more goat Pokemon. I mean, there's enough sheep Pokemon. You've got so many types of goats, or animals that are similar to goats. Ibexes, mountain goats, etc. And even within the species of goats, there's so many different types of goats. You got boar goats, Spanish goats, Nubian goats, Kikos, Alpines, pygmy goats. Oh, there's Gengar. Nice, I got him disappearing into his little portal. Now, I keep thinking there's gotta be a way to like... Okay, there's close-ups. Oh. If I had zoomed in earlier, would I have slowed down enough? That's the question. Anyway, I keep thinking there's like an alternate pathway in there, or going the other way. I'll find it sometime.
Really?
Looks like that Sableye was digging for gems. That'll probably be a good shot later on. I should be snapping away and not trying to go for the same shot. Man, if I had caught it a little bit earlier when it was doing that little pose. Gengar. Now, if this is anything like the Carlsbad Caverns, every night, like, tens of thousands of those Crobats should be, like, flying out of it. Alright. Hope I get it this time.
Great job.
Might have gotten it. We shall see. But yeah, I see literally no benefit in sending my kid to the public school system. I mean, we are going to homeschool all the way. In fact, you're going to unschool. Which unschooling is basically you let your kid
Now that.
pick whatever it is that they're interested in. And they'll naturally come to learn everything that they need to learn. Because they need that information to make sense of the context
Discovery.
of what it is they're learning about. Because you let their natural curiosity spur them on towards learning, rather than sort of force a curriculum on them.
Nice work.
You know, and the idea is that you keep them from distractions, you know, from all these screens that
Nice work.
have become like addictions for us. I just remember being in front of a screen from when I was a kid, just screen to screen to screen. I come home, there's the TV, go to school, I'm on my Game Boy. You know, I'm just looking forward to the next time I can sit myself down in front of a screen. And then the internet came out, and I was on my computer until 2 in the morning as a teenager. While there is something to be said about like learning from the internet, we're at the stage now where algorithms are learning us, and we are basically being bought and sold as the commodities. I want my future children to be able to discover what naturally would interest them. As parents, it's our job, I think, to provide the context and the resources for them to be able to explore and to be all that they can be, basically. When I was a kid, I was really into drawing. I wanted to be a cartoonist, actually, and I got all these how to draw books and whatnot. But, you know, when you're that age, a single word from a trusted adult figure can discourage you, you know, and somebody very close to me who I looked up to, you know, discouraged me. It's like, oh, you know, animators, they hardly make any money. And you have to study anatomy. Oh, it's you know, multiple people. I'll say more than one person told me that. And I was discouraged, and I was like, wow. Well, if it's really that hard to be an animator, then never mind. I'll just put this idea of drawing on the back burner, and I'll look for something more practical and realistic. Well, of course, I didn't end up looking for something practical and realistic. I went to film school, for crying out loud. But the point is, if I hadn't been discouraged back then, if I had pursued this idea of animation, well, I might not have been an animator, but it might have been able to take me a little closer to something that I might have enjoyed and been good at. I might have been a comics artist, a layout artist, comic letterer, colorist, color timer. I mean, there's so many different jobs. And that's to say nothing of the people who can make it on their own, with like webcomics, for instance. There was a time when webcomics were all the rage, you know, Penny Arcade. That's where the Control-Alt-Delete comic and the Lost meme came from. You know, those sort of Wild West days where people were just you know, before everybody had super fast internet, before YouTube became very popular, where lots of people just read webcomics. You know, there were a bunch of them that are probably forgotten now, like PvP and Mega Tokyo. My favorite one was 8-Bit Theater, written by Brian Clevenger. He also makes like Atomic Robo and all that, but 8-Bit Theater was, to me, a really good example of parody. Basically takes the idea of the 4 Light Warriors from the very first Final Fantasy and turns it on its head. It turns them all into basically sociopathic jerks. Except for Fighter, who's just like like a dumb kid. I'm not ashamed to say, I read that entire run of, I don't know, it was like 400 something comics. And I loved it. It was cute, funny, well written. And the characters stayed consistent all throughout. I gotta say, my favorite is Red Mage, who tries to optimize every single situation and encounter. He treats the whole world as like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of game. Which, you know, it's kind of an inside joke, because the idea of the Red Mage in Final Fantasy is a class that's like a jack of all trades. They can perform minor healing magic. They are decent in offensive magic, and they can attack. So, you know, if you need an all-purpose character who can switch roles really easily every single turn, well, the Red Mage is for you. They also have the coolest outfit. They've, you know, little red cape and this sort of archer's hat with a feather. Anyhow, he is far and away my favorite character. Although Black Mage is pretty funny too. It's a little one note in that, you know, he's kind of evil and wants to kill everyone. You can only go so far with a character like that. But I think that's what I liked about that webcomic, was the writing in general. It starts out really just like silly and simple, and that might be why it didn't pick up as much as it could have. Because that first, I would say, like, you know, it takes about 20 to 30 comics for it to really hit its stride. Man, it is golden when it does. Like the interactions that, let's say, Black Mage has with the White Mage, or that Fighter has with literally anyone, or the different ways that Thief is able to like screw over the party. It's just a classic webcomic.
Nice work.
But yeah, sorry, I got off topic.
Nice work.
Let's rewind that, okay, all the way back to
Nice work.
my childhood. See, back then, if I had really delved deeply, I could have been one of those guys who goes on DeviantArt and makes art for commissions for a living. I could have specialized in high fantasy style art, book covers. The possibilities are endless. Now let's say I had sort of reached the end of where I could get to in terms of drawing. Then I might look at other avenues. You know, through a process of elimination, from working at an early age, I could be able to, you know, discover what my calling is in life. But if you start that later on in life, you start to think, well, maybe that's not my calling, maybe this is. And then you just have less of a head start. Whatever you work on when you're younger,
Good luck.
I mean, it leaves an imprint on you. If you spend your childhood playing video games, yeah, you'll be great at playing video games. But what else are you going to have? You know, you have a bit of hand-eye coordination. That's great. Great if you want to pull levers on a conveyor belt. You know, not trying to be glib or anything, but that's where it is. So I'm saying to all the new parents out there, just really think about, if you want your kid to be fully actualized, just show them what the possibilities are out there. Maybe your kid really wants to, they have a bit of like a pyromaniac kind of streak. Well, maybe they'd be into welding. You can explain to them what welding is and how they're too young to work on that now, but hey, they might like it later when they get older. Fusing metal together, isn't that a cool thing? You can make campfires with them.
That's the stuff.
Like explore their hobby or their interests in a safe way, in an encouraging way. And I knew a kid who he loved to make campfires. You just make campfires, and he learned pretty quick, how to stack the wood properly, light it properly, what kind of wood, how to control it, how to take care of it, and he was just enamored with stuff like that. He also really loved rocks and geodes. When he got interested in a topic, he would just delve deeply into it. Whether it was bugs or leaves, really into nature, this kid, he already has like the perfect resume to be a park ranger or something. Now, when you talk about homeschooling, a lot of people are like, well, what about the social interaction, social elements? I want my kid to be able to learn how to interact with people socially. Well, that's why there's homeschooling groups. Literally every place you go in the USA, or I presume in most other countries, if you just look online or if you put the word out, you have like local communities say, hey, I'm homeschooling. Most of the time there will be someone else who knows somebody else who's homeschooling. It's like, oh hey, there's a homeschooling group, and they meet every such and such, and maybe once or twice or even more a week. And then hopefully, there'll also be family around, friends. And here's the thing, that kids who are put in a social group with nothing but their peers only ever really learn how to properly interact with their peers. And I wouldn't even say properly interact, because the school environment comes with all of its little idiosyncrasies, social cues, its little tiers. It's like a little caste system that happens. I hate to say it, you've got the mean girls kind of thing going on, where you get the popular people and then everybody else. And then the people who are everybody else they immediately feel that like, oh, I have like this niche, I have to fit into this category. Really? I'm not going to be the kind of guy who is student council president or star athlete or whatnot. So I'm just going to have to fit into my little box and be a little nerd and get into my corner and act a certain way. Or, they'll rebel and be like, oh, I gotta be different. I'm not going to fit into that category, and therefore I'm going to be a punk or a goth. Like, what I'm saying is your personality becomes defined by others. You don't ever really get to discover, like truly discover, who you would be in relation to, let's say, your relationship with God, or your relationship with nature, your relationship to your family, your relationship to yourself. The traditional set of conflicts that they have in like writing, plays and whatnot. You've got man versus war, or man versus society, where the kind of story where a guy has to take on the system, like Network, one of my favorite films. You've got man versus nature, like let's say The Revenant. It's a good example of well, actually, The Revenant is a good example of that one, and the next conflict, which is man versus man. You have two people's wills or ideology pitted against one another. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry I'm not talking about the game. I do love these Typhlosions and their poses. Oh man, he just roasted that fluff fruit. He was like, I prefer my fruit cooked. Love it. Anyhow, in the next conflicts, I'll try and go through this a little quicker. You've got man versus self, which the most classic example is Hamlet. Man, torn by indecision. You can also see this in films like Anomalisa, which was Charlie Kaufman's one of his more recent films. Very good film.
Nice work.
Synecdoche, New York has a little bit of that.
Great timing.
Man versus technology, which the classic example would be 2001: A Space Odyssey. And then man versus fate, or the supernatural, or God,
Nice work.
which a good example would be probably Stranger Than Fiction, the Will Ferrell film,
Great
where his entire life is being narrated by an author and he's being driven insane because she says that he's gonna die
Nice
at the
work.
end of the story, and he's just not looking forward to his impending death.
Nice work.
But a more classic example would be like Greek mythology. You've got the works of Homer where like the gods are involved and they're just like messing with people. Anyway, these conflicts are in literature, not real life. But art reflects life, doesn't it? And it's kind of universal. Like, even though we don't believe in the Greek gods the way that they did, we can still understand that they represent something primal, something that's innate. Whatever it is they represent, it goes beyond the surface level of our experience into something that what Jung would call the collective unconscious. Anyway, I'm not trying to abstract too much here. The point is, when you go into a rigid school system, it's just that. It's not just your instructions that are rigid. It's the entire structure. John Taylor Gatto points this out really well in his book. The classroom setting, for instance, where you go from one subject to another, it doesn't allow your brain time to digest what you've learned, to absorb it, to truly commit it, and to be interested in it. Because the second that you begin to be interested in what it is that you've learned, you've moved on to something else. And in the time period that your brain should be using to process the information that you've been given and to sort of sit with it, you're already being whisked off to learn something else. They're trying to cram as much into your head as they can. And it's completely inefficient. It doesn't work well for the individual child. Works well for teachers who get to teach a few lessons a day and then leave, who get to form their lesson plans and plan ahead of time. But it's no wonder the kid loses interest. And here's the other thing. The classroom setting doesn't benefit boys and girls in the same way. Boys are much more, they're more hands-on in terms of how they learn. That's why one of the classes I remember most was a shop class, because I got to actually learn how to build things. We learned plumbing one year. I did really well in school. Okay, I was like consistently high grades, but when it came to the practical stuff, I just lit up. Even like home economics, like, man, this is stuff I can actually use. And you're getting up, you're moving around, you're following a recipe, you are fixing a toilet, we're soldering circuits on, we're making a chair out of pieces of wood. I mean, how can you not love that? But boys tend to get distracted. They get distracted because there's other little boys around, and little boys like to joke around with each other. And when there's little girls involved, well, they have to kind of one-up one another, sort of impress them, even on a subconscious level. Now, some people may argue, well, hey, that's just our society. That's how modern civilization is, and if you don't put your kid in the standardized schooling system, they're not going to be able to know how to properly interact with people. And to that, I say that is totally wrong, because if you have your children interacting with older people, people your age, their cousins, their uncles, their grandparents, granduncles, etc. You have family and friends around. They can learn from them. And a lot of those people, I mean, hopefully some of those people will have kids. Humans were never meant to be raised in a vacuum. The nuclear family is not, I mean, it was never meant to be an ideal structure for raising a family. You know that saying, it takes a village to raise a child? Well, I think that it takes a village and a family. I really apologize that I'm not making that much progress in this level. I think I keep missing what it is I'm supposed to hit. Was I supposed to just get the crystal bloom? Oh yeah, that's a pretty good one. Alright. One of those is going to be my new Aerodactyl photo, probably. Yeah, I don't need those Typhlosions. And yes, I know not every boy wants to go and play outside. And I did really well in a classroom setting, I'm not gonna lie. But I was also super distracted by, like, the girls around me. Middle school, high school, even in grade school. And I just remember constantly, like, comparing myself to the other people my age, when that's not really super helpful. In life, when you become an adult, it's hard to break that habit because it's developed really young if you go to school. Now, if your only benchmark for progress is set by yourself, if your expectations and the pace at which you learn is on your own time, then I think you'll be happier learning and you won't find it a grind. The only part of school I really, really disliked was homework. And I actually, it's funny, I didn't talk it over with my parents or anything. They didn't really bother me about it, but for me, homework was optional. My grades were just so good that it didn't affect me that much, but half the time I wouldn't even do my homework. I just would just forgo it, because in my mind, and this is me in middle school, high school, you know, I'm like, that's my own time. When I get home from school, I'm gonna pursue my own interests, my own hobbies, and I had responsibilities at home too. So to me, it was, I'm not wasting another hour, 2 hours of my time on the stuff that we've already covered in class. I mean, sometimes I would do my homework in homeroom, I would do it on the bus on the way to school, you know, if I really had to. And half the time, I would just be like, no. Unless it's one of those big projects, and of course, you know, you want to work. But I was inspired to work on those because it wasn't just, you know, filling out some sheet that shows that I absorbed the information that was taught. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. Anyhow, that's my spiel. That is why my wife is the most well-adjusted person that I know, because she was homeschooled, completely homeschooled by her mom. And she has 5 other siblings. Yeah, I know. But they were in groups of 3s. 3 older ones and 3 younger ones. And she's the middle of the younger 3.
Good luck.
There were 3 boys and 3 girls. So her mom taught them all. And she taught them in a classic way. She taught them a little bit of Latin, Greek, history, mythology, the classics. And they had a Christian upbringing too. So Sundays were church, and then you get to interact with people. They had a large family, go on camping trips all the time. And so she's the kind of person, you just can't make her do something. But at the same time, we have no disagreements because we share the same value system. And it's fantastic. Like, we are just perfect for each other. Oh, that guy. I missed the backflip. Hey, Archeops. Thanks for the photobomb. See, I could have been scanning that thing up there, and I didn't. No, I'm missing it. Where is it? So, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This is why you don't tell your kid not to be an animator. Because they end up making Let's Plays and ranting about not being an animator. Even though now, knowing what I know about Hollywood, film industry... Oh, I missed his backflip twice. How do I do that? I would never want to be an animator. I mean, gosh, the kind of output that the American animation industry is churning out, I'm sorry, but it's embarrassing. Alright, call me a formalist. Alright. I will accept that label. But you compare what they're making these days to stuff like, classic Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes. Yeah, people can say all they want. Yeah, that stuff is outdated, it's archaic, it's violent. But the animation quality, that's all I'm talking about, the animation quality. It's... the last gasp of it was in Ren and Stimpy. And... that show is kind of tainted now because of the reputation of John Kay and all the things that he did. But animation is an art form, damn it. And it was born in the West. Modern animation was born in the West. And yet, what is it now? It's the CalArts style. And I went to CalArts, so I can say this. It's criminally lazy. Just look at the character models they're trying to push on us. I have friends in the animation industry, so I don't want to push any buttons. But it's like a whole bunch of network executives saw South Park and they look like, hey, look what these guys can do on that budget. Why don't we make it so all shows have that budget? And then people just focus on the writing and figure the rest of it out. Quality? Oh, who needs quality? These shows are for kids. They don't care. They can't tell what quality is. Totally untrue. There's this amazing passage by Arthur Schopenhauer. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's long, but just this one section in the last paragraph. In regard to reading, it is a very important thing to be able to refrain. Skill in doing so consists in not taking into one's hands any book merely because at the time it happens to be extensively read, such as political or religious pamphlets, novels, poetry, and the like, which make a noise and may even attain to several editions in the first and last year of their existence. Consider, rather, that the man who writes for fools is always sure of a large audience. Be careful to limit your time for reading and devote it exclusively to the works of those great minds of all times and countries, who o'ertop the rest of humanity, those whom the voice of fame points to as such. These alone really educate and instruct. You can never read bad literature too little, nor good literature too much. Bad books are intellectual poison. They destroy the mind. Because people always read what is new instead of the best of all ages. Writers remain in the narrow circle of the ideas which happen to prevail in their time, and so the period sinks deeper and deeper into its own mire. That is from On Books and Reading by Arthur Schopenhauer. So for me, you can apply that not to literature, but to all forms of storytelling.
Nice work.
Who are the people that inspired the people who made that work of art? Let's just take Star Wars for instance.
Nice work.
George Lucas' primary influence, Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell went around the world. Yeah, sure, he was kind of a CIA asset, whatever. But he studied all the different myths and religions and cultures. And he was trying to find things that were common among different peoples in the world, things that were universal. And that's why Star Wars was the #1 film of all time, because all of its themes are so basic. When you try and subvert the message of Star Wars by taking the archetypes and putting them on their head, you get The Last Jedi, which is one of the dumbest films I have ever seen. On my other channel, I have an hour-and-a-half video just tearing that movie a new one. But yeah, it's Star Wars Day. I want to be happy about the good Star Wars, before the dark times, before the Disney buyout. One of the ideas I had for an ASMR video was actually, it was really silly. It was ASMR roleplay. The idea was one friend would be reassuring another friend, like, hey, I know Disney killed Star Wars, and it's okay. It's okay because we had what we got from Mr. Lucas, what we got from LucasArts in terms of games, fantastic games. Let's not forget the decades of amazing games we got from LucasArts. And then we have the rest of the expanded universe. We got the novels. We have the many encyclopedias that were released, the art books, third-party video games like Lego Star Wars, the pinball games, the Robot Chicken Star Wars specials. You got the fact that Mr. Lucas never once went after fan films or fan conventions. He took everything, he had a good sense of humor. He's tongue-in-cheek about it. I can't imagine the pain that he must have felt when the entire internet was sharing Red Letter Media reviews of the prequels and all the memes that came out of that. I love that channel. I watch those guys all the time. But there's a lot of stuff in there that's pretty mean-spirited. I think it comes down to the question of whether you think the prequels were lazy. And in some ways, Mr. Lucas was trying to push something that wasn't quite there yet, which is digital technology. When Attack of the Clones came out, it was, I think, the first feature-length film of that scope and caliber to be shot entirely digitally. And I think that it was a huge gamble. It was a big experiment to do that with a camera that was untested. I think there were only like 2 other films that were released before that were shot completely digitally. And yeah, the film had an overabundance of CGI, and it looked bad when projected on film because it's shot digitally. All the effects are digital, and then they converted it all to film. Yeah, it kind of looks cartoonish at times. Yeah, there's some moments where the acting's a little cringe. Yes, the story goes on for quite a long time, and the film noir angle that he's going with, sort of like paired with the love story and the sort of growing darkness. yeah, it's a slow burn. And it's not for everybody. But, you know, I appreciate that of all the 6 Star Wars films, all of them have a different sort of tone to them. All of them have different story structures. The Phantom Menace was a little more political in nature. Revenge of the Sith is completely Faustian. Attack of the Clones is very much it harkens back to the 1950s, where you had weepies like Mildred Pierce, which were just like these like tragic love story, melodramatic love stories mixed with film noir. Mildred Pierce is a perfect example of that because it's both a love story and a film noir. But so if the Phantom Menace is, you know, 30s with Buck Rogers and all that, you know, Attack of the Clones is the 50s. And Revenge of the Sith would probably be like mid to late 60s with the Vietnam War and all that. Anyway, I'm just saying. There was a progression. There was a lot of creativity, and there's a lot of love and care put into those films. And it's easy to just act like you're above them and that you could do better, and to take a big, you know what on them. But just you imagine you are in the position of being one of the more forward-thinking, revolutionary filmmakers of your age. You've pioneered so many things. You know, we wouldn't have Pixar without Mr. Lucas. You wouldn't have ILM. Just have a little bit of respect for the guy. He wasn't just some lucky guy around which all these happy accidents happened and boom, we got this miraculous thing, which is Star Wars. No, he hired those people. He picked Ralph McQuarrie's concept art. He knew what he wanted. And as a filmmaker, I understand. You can't always get there on your own. You need help editing, putting things together, writing. And sometimes your reach exceeds your grasp. But give me an ambitious failure over something that's just boring and formulaic any day. Any day. It doesn't take a genius to make a Marvel film. And I like those films. I like them a lot. In fact, Infinity War, to me, is a fantastic movie. Winter Soldier was pretty good too, as long as you don't think too much about it. But what Zack Snyder was trying to do is on a much deeper level. People say, oh, he's style over substance. He doesn't get it. He's just trying to hammer in all this iconography and mythology. He hasn't earned any of that. Well, you know, talk about earning it as much as you want. He tried it. Did he make the perfect Watchmen movie? No. There's all sorts of problems with that movie. Is it a masterpiece? That's debatable. I think it is, but I 100% understand people who don't, who think that he missed the point entirely. See, I think he's in on the joke. Just like with a Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch, totally misunderstood film. That film is subversive. People are saying it's promoting the very thing it's seeking to denounce. No.
How'd it go?
I just feel that that's a incomplete reading of the film, without giving too much away. And I am terrible about talking about this game. We just went through a alternate branching pathway in that level, and I didn't mention it once. Alright, let's talk about it now.
Let's do this. A new discovery.
Those Noibats, I just keep expecting them to like blare some music from their giant ears.
Nice work.
That is a 4-star? Okay,
Nice work.
I'll take it. Alright,
New
Driftwood.
discovery. Nice work.
It's funny, I spun my camera around mile right there. Alright,
Nice work.
no warning, just mile.
Great timing.
Wonder what makes that one a 3-star photo. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those Zack Snyder can do nothing wrong kind of guys. I just think the guy deserves a little more credit, that's all.
Professor!
Oh. Yep. You mind?
I know what to do, huh? Okay. Well, at least they've acknowledged that I'm the only one who knows what the heck they're doing in this whole research team. So, we are going to return to this topic. I just want to focus all attention on this level, which is awesome. I wonder what Pokemon it is.
Looks like your target is there. Rushing up to it could be dangerous. Be careful.
It must be in one of those holes, right? Try throwing Fluffroot in them.
That makes sense. The supposedly giant Pokemon is going to sense a tiny fluffy piece of fruit. Actually, they are super sensitive to ultrasonic vibrations. Oh my goodness. Yo. Or maybe he just smells really well. It's his Felix. Glow, bro. Glow. I should have been flinging Illumina orbs.
Maybe it takes a few Illumina orbs to light up since it's so big.
Yeah. You ever think of making an Illumina beam instead of orbs? You know, like the Ghostbusters have?
I think it's under there. Quick, run a scan. Maybe it'll come up with some Fluffroot?
Alright, so scan, fruit, orb. Got it. That Steelix's been taking some speed up. X speed or whatever. Taking some carbos. It's got the quick claw equipped. okay now.
Reading is getting farther away. Maybe you'll get its luminous state
Oh,
next time.
shucks.
Why don't you return for now?
I choose to blame my parents. They never wanted me to be an animator. See that? That's kind of the trap that a lot of people fall into, isn't it? Like, inability to let go of the past. And as I mentioned before, that's something that I struggled with as well. So I totally get it. But it's so crucial. There's nothing more freeing than be able to wake up and being able to say, you know what, today is a new day. It's a blank slate. I don't have to carry over everything that has been in my life up until this very day of waking up. And you know what actually helps with that? Is learning how to lucid dream. If you learn how to lucid dream, you feel like you have some form of control over your dreams, even if it's subconsciously. I feel like I have some degree of control over my dreams, even if I don't even think about it. Oh, there he goes. He's glowing. But again, the biggest thing is, I guess, the buff that I got from doing the Vipassana meditation course. I'm just realizing that everything is impermanent. That thoughts, they come and then they go. And it's really your choice whether or not you attach to them, or you just let them go in one ear and out the other. You know, it's always your choice. You can't control other people. You just can't. All you can do is control how you react to those people, how to deal with them, whether you're going to deal with them in a way that brings them up, or you let them bring you down. I mean, everyone knows difficult people, right? And I know sometimes it's really hard to have patience with them. And you know, you may feel that your pride is hurt or take offense at something that they've said or done, but at the same time, you don't know what they've been through. You don't know their lives, their trauma. Ooh, I think that was probably a good one, that first photo. And because you don't know what they've come from, you don't know what kind of demons they're battling on a daily basis. You know, do they wake up every day hating themselves? Do they cry themselves to sleep at night? And they have their own personal pains and worries and neuroses. You know, it's my assumption that people who are difficult are victims of abuse, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, sexual, psychic, who knows? They had people in their lives who passed on bad behaviors, bad coping mechanisms, or they just generally had bad examples. You know, or people who are, they don't even have to be abused by people who are close to them in life. They could be abused by institutions, authority figures, the system. You know, I mean, this whole thing that we call, you know, you try and separate it into this and that, say, corporations, governments, institutions.
Before you return, could I trouble you to make a quick detour?
Could you stop by a
Something caught my
McDonald's?
attention while you were chasing after that Steelix. past that broken wall, there appears to be a large open area. The scan says it's not a natural formation, it's human-made. It's just begging to be explored.
Atlantis. Ancient aliens.
Oh, what is this place, Professor?
It's the set of James
I can't say
Cameron's
for
The
sure,
Abyss.
But I think it may be another ruin connected to the Illumina Pokemon.
Ancient ruins. Wow.
Look at that mural.
I hope my character checked the
Mural's
methane
very
levels
old,
before taking
and
off
it's
that
missing some pieces here and
shield.
there, but it must be depicting that ancient lens legend. Let's see. It looks like it's roughly 2,000 years old.
Jeez, you startled me. Is it really that old?
It must have been made around the time the meteorite hit. Fantastic! What a discovery!
Does this show what the people saw back then? So, the Pokemon are protecting them from the meteorite?
The patterns on these Pokemon. Could they be Illumina Pokemon?
You think?
Did Illumina Pokemon exist before the meteorite fell after all? And was there another Illumina Pokemon in the center?
Or maybe the Illumina Pokemon summoned the meteor? Through some arcane ritual?
Oh, sorry. I got a bit lost in thought. I've got some good data for now. Let's sort it out once you're back.
But the point is, going back to George Lucas, you're talking about a man who is in such a unique position because he basically forewent his director's fee for Star Wars just for an exchange of the merchandising rights. He was able to become essentially an entertainment mogul in his own right, which the studios don't like to have competition. So think about it. You work with the film studios. Let's say one that's gaining power like Disney.
Let's do this.
Just for instance. How do you want people to perceive a relative outsider like George Lucas? You want people to think, oh, he's washed up. You and your buddies in the industry are going to use whatever leverage you can to make sure that his films, number one, don't get the funding. Number two, don't get great marketing and distribution. And they can do that because the town is so vertically integrated. And number three, they got the critics in their pocket. It's a no-win game. You know, there was this whole sort of illusion in the 90s that an independent filmmaker can just get discovered at Sundance or Cannes or Venice, whatever. Just get discovered by these like smaller distributors, make it big. You got your Richard Linklaters, Kevin Smiths, Quentin Tarantino's. And I love those guys. I'm not saying that they are not special or anything, but they were in the right place at the right time with the right films. And they knew the right people. I don't doubt there are truly great independent films out there. I've seen them. But if the film you're trying to make, or that you've already made and are trying to sell, isn't one that's easily going to fit into a category and make a lot of money for somebody, why would they buy it? Why would they buy that and distribute it? From the point of view of a film executive, that's competition against your own projects or your friends' projects. Cheaper almost to just buy the film out and then never show it. Or to buy the film out and control its distribution. Oh wait, what's this?
world to explore before our survey comes to an end. Ready for the final frontier?
Final frontier. Does that mean we're going to space? Yeah, no crap, Professor.
Oh,
Also, yep.
uh-huh.
As for that, now,
Wait, you mean... I mean, surely this is transmitting through like satellite technology, right? So you're saying you've never actually gotten like a Google Earth view of this island?
thanks.
You weren't able to see like ruins from the sky? It's okay.
You mind?
There's no satellites in the Pokemon universe. They transmit through the ether. That's my new headcanon. Anyhow, I'm sorry this whole thing became a huge rant about George Lucas. I love that guy so much. I love how he trolled his rich neighbors by
Massive
turning his land into low-income housing just to piss him off.
The reading was coming from deeper inside. Be careful.
Deep, 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 deep. Ancient ruins, ancient ruins, ancient, 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 ancient ruins. Let's get that photo. Alright. Throw the Illumina orbs next round. Yeah, that's not ominous at all. Houndoom staring. Oh, bro.
That's great!
Personal space. Oh, don't turn around. Just when I was about to snap that photo.
Oh!
See, it's instances like that where you wish you had the burst mode. Okay. I hope we get to see like Zatu and Unknown and some cool mystical second gen Pokemon in there. Probably not. And that's okay. I apologize, by the way, for the little Pokemon flute I keep playing. I know that sound is like supremely annoying. Now, here's a pro tip. I'm just gonna spoil it for you. Save some time. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to toss the Illumina orbs at the Crystalblooms near each of those statues. See that Crystalbloom right there? You can toss 3 of them from the very top as soon as you turn that corner before the Neo one starts to descend. You can already light up 3 of them. You gotta light up 5 of them. And it takes me a little while to figure this out. but I'm just spoiling it for you. That's not one of them. The ones you need to light up are all by the statues. Well, not right by them, but near enough. Or was that one of them? You know what? I can't remember. Just watch the video. That's right, like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help out my channel. I welcome all comments. If you want to send criticism, constructive criticism, hate mail, tell me why my opinions are wrong, flame me, by all means, let's get into it. Hello, Golurk. Is that Pokemon like psychically messing with that Golurk? I ain't even surprised. Alright, so whatever it is I'm going to unlock, it's probably behind there.
Hello.
You know, I guess the point I'm really trying to make is everyone needs a hobby.
Now then.
Everyone needs something that they love. Something they love to do. Something that is enriching to them. I love to write.
Nice work.
I used to love making movies, but that just took too much time. It was stressful. It was difficult to do leading a nomadic lifestyle. So I learned to love writing, which I already did.
A new discovery. Nice work.
Muy ver. I think that most people are creative.
Nice work.
Most of the people that I know personally, who most people wouldn't even think of as like creative types, have confessed to me, you know, they have some secret little hobby that they do just for fun. Whether it's making music, drawing, writing poetry, sewing, wood carving, wood burning, even interior decoration is an art form. I'm not sure if, dear reader, or I should say dear viewer, you have ever read Scott McCloud's book, Understanding Comics. In it, he lays out his own personal definition of art. And it's a very all-encompassing definition. He says that art can be anything that we do that isn't essential to survival. Like in the primal sense, you know? And that really kind of got me thinking. Are our rituals art? Our interactions?
Whoa.
Agreed.
Oh,
Let me see.
I wonder why he thinks it was built in a hurry. Like, what's his evidence for that?
Here. All right.
I think now is probably as good of a time as any to confess that I haven't given Disney a single cent of my money ever since I went and saw The Last Jedi in 2017. And the only exceptions to that were Infinity War and Endgame. The funny thing is, I feel like I haven't really missed out on much. It's my personal feeling that people in general, should really employ boycotts more. When we see practices of companies like Amazon or Walmart, Target, who've all been doing very inhumane things. It's one thing to call them out, but quite another to hit them in the pocketbook. I understand, I myself do buy things from Amazon because sometimes there's just no other choice. Living in the country, it's hard to get away, go to the store. I mean, some stores are like an hour and a half away. So I understand that. But as much as possible, I try and buy from local places. Smaller local business. Alright, this is pretty cool. I'm not going to get a better shot than that. That looks like an alternate pathway right there. And I apologize again for playing that song. There. Was it just firing a laser from its head? Okay. It got a freaking Sigalith with a freaking laser beam on its freaking head. Weren't they supposed to make an Austin Powers 4? I wonder if that's one of those in development hell kind of things. You're not gonna do the little laser? Okay. And again, you can start flinging those Illumina orbs before your vehicle even descends. You can light up 3 of the 5 before you even start to descend. See that one right there? It's right beside the blue one. That one right on the side of that red one. See there, I see it. Didn't light it. And you'll know when you light it because the stream starts flowing. Okay, where's this purple one? There it is. Hidden in the back. Purple one. I'm sorry, I am so trash at throwing those. This one is behind these little Eldegoss things. They will move eventually. But you've got to hurry up and light that one and then quickly turn because it's right behind that Golurk. Oh my gosh, it's not to. I remember I used a Zatu for a while. They're so cute. Little Natu. So as soon as you hit that one, and you can hit it even with the Golurk there, you just have to like aim it properly. See that? It kind of lights up and the stream starts glowing. Then you immediately have to hit the one in the middle. Don't worry about those other ones. Just hit that one in the middle there. Just like that. And then just turn to the side and that pathway should open up to you. If you know what you're doing, you can get it on the second try, I think. Get that photo of the crystal bloom on the first try.
Great job.
Last month, my wife and I played a game called Haven on the Switch. It's an indie game
It's time.
about this couple that is stranded on a deserted planet. They basically escaped a dystopian society where everyone is matched together by this entity called the Matchmaker. And they wanted to start their own life together, so they just said, we're leaving. But after landing
Let's do
there,
this.
earthquake hits and damages their spaceship.
Great timing.
So you've got to roam the land and try and find parts to repair it. You also have to traverse these like streams of energy called the flow and gather them to use as fuel. You gather fruits and vegetables to make food. And you do battle with
Great timing.
the local creatures who are of course infected by some sort of bright red corruption. I don't want to spoil the story.
A new discovery.
It's a really interesting story that unfolds.
A new
The game was very
discovery.
highly rated and
Nice work.
I think it has quite a few fans. But I'm a little surprised that it hasn't hit critical mass. It's got a story I think even mature audiences can appreciate. The real strength of the game is in its writing. The characters are very likable, and the English dub is pretty darn good, gotta say. I've also been playing a little bit of Crash Bandicoot 4. That game is crazy fun, also crazy hard. I'm definitely not going to 100% that game. Just trying to find all of the boxes in one level is...
Good luck.
That's the kind of thing that'll take quite a bit of time. And those little bonus stages are real puzzles. It's funny, I'm the kind of guy who can't just play one game at a time most of the time. I'm like juggling 10 to 12 different games. And whenever the fancy takes me, I'll just pick one of them up and start playing. I'm juggling like, you know, Hades, Enter the Gungeon, Final Fantasy VI, Star Fox 64, the Berserk game for Dreamcast. That one is a lot of fun. I'm also trying to find a way to play Seaman without necessarily buying one of those Dreamcast microphones on eBay. I guess there's some way you can emulate the game on PC. I might just end up doing that. As much as I would love to play it as intended on my Dreamcast, I don't really look forward to dishing out upwards of like $50 for a microphone. A friend of mine recently built a Dreamcast arcade cabinet complete with like custom paneling. It just looks amazing. I am incredibly jealous.
Nice.
Alright, that was a good photo. Oh, that was good too. That's probably going to be a 3 or 4 star. I'm really sad to say it, folks, that we are nearing the end of the game. There are variations to levels that you get to unlock at the end of the game. Maybe I'll play 1 or 2 for you. There we go. Blue is lit. See if we can get the red one. Not quite getting that one. And remember, there are 5 to light up. 5. It's really easy to miss one. Don't worry, I already got that one. I believe on this run I missed the purple one actually. Looking all the way over there. And I was like, I thought I lit them all. No, bro. You completely missed that purple one between the rocks. And as I mentioned before, this one is behind the Golurk to the right. Right there. And as I said, you can just toss it near its feet. Or try to get it between its feet. Or you can get it to move by moving the Natu. Like I did that first round. Either way works. Obviously, if you've gotten this far, you are too late. Because you also have to light up that one crystal bloom in the center there. And at this point, you're almost too late. You got like 1 shot right there. Yeah, that might already just be too late. Better luck next time. How do you guys feel about John Cho playing Spike Spiegel in the Cowboy Bebop movie? I think he could be good. I think he's a very good actor. I just don't really know if he can pull off the physicality in the fight scenes. Spike is supposed to be a very fluid fighter. So I was thinking someone who's known as being a martial artist expert should probably play him. But I guess that swagger is also a very important part of his character. When it comes to live action anime adaptations, my expectations are so low as to be non-existent.
Perfect timing.
At least I got some good photos this round. Alright.
Perfect timing.
Like, literally, I can't even think of the... Well, there was a Speed Racer movie. I really love that. The Wachowskis made that. With Emile Hirsch and Christina Ricci, John Goodman, Susan Sarandon.
Take care.
And Rain. And I don't want to spoil the yeah, I'm not even going to say what I'm going to spoil because that would be a spoiler in and of itself. I love the film. And that comes from somebody who watched the original Speed Racer anime as a kid. As cheesy as it was playing on TV, so I figure why not. Anyhow, I love that. I love that movie. It's so stylized and yet faithful to the source material in a lot of ways. It's such a shame that it was a financial disappointment. Back in the day, I was able to get into a preview screening thanks to a friend of mine. And I wrote a glowing review, submitted it to Ain't It Cool News. You know, back when Ain't It Cool News was a site where people would have scoops and whatnot. Early reactions, leaks, whatever. And I swear, a bunch of people called me a plant. And I had to go into the comments section and argue and be like, no, I'm not a plant. I'm just somebody who really loves Speed Racer. And then the other anime film I enjoyed, and you know, not everyone is going to be on board with this, is the Ghost in the Shell film with Scarlett Johansson. Disclaimer, as an Asian person myself, I have no problem with her casting. Gosh, I really hate it when people say that. As an Asian person, as a BIPOC person, as a member of the blank community or whatever. But this is one of those cases where I kind of feel like I have to say that because people will be like, you're so racist, how could you like that movie? Whitewashing casting. She's an android, first off. Spoilers. Actually, that's not a spoiler. And secondly, even the original creator of Ghost in the Shell didn't have a problem with it. And third, what about this whole trend of like race blind casting? Should we really care about the race or the gender of an actor, or shouldn't we? You know, make a decision. Is it a case-by-case scenario kind of thing, where if you're trying to do historical fiction, you should try and be historically accurate? And then if you're trying to do science fiction, it doesn't matter? Trying to do fantasy, it doesn't matter? Except it kind of does, you know. One of the examples that I'm looking at, more recent examples, is the casting for the Amazon Wheel of Time series, which I take serious issue with, that they went with a super diverse cast for people in a region that is supposed to be, you know, sort of ethnically more homogenous. Because it diminishes the sort of largeness of that world and the way that it was set up by Jordan. When you see people from other nations later on in the story, it's not going to have the same power. Because you've already established all these people of different races in the beginning. You know, as having come from the isolated countryside, fans of the books will be able to understand where I'm coming from, because if there's one world that is super vast and features an incredible number of races, it's the Wheel of Time series. I mean, that series has so many point of view characters, you start to forget who's who.
Nice work.
I mean, there's an entire book, Book 10, which is completely irrelevant to the plot because there are so many characters. And when you have the richness of a universe like that,
Nice work.
I think it does it an injustice to sort of
A new discovery.
go and make all of the main characters like tick diversity boxes. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's not likely that I'm going to watch the show. Same thing with Amazon's Lord of the Rings. I just don't really have much faith in it, despite the massive amount of money they're pouring into it. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but for me it's better to lower my expectations and kind of just, you know, if it's good, then I'll be pleasantly surprised. But I've just been disappointed by so many things. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. When I look at a work of fantasy or sci-fi, one of the most important criteria to me is the world building. Is the world building consistent? Does it make sense? Does the technology portrayed, for instance, match what the people would have available? What they could realistically accomplish? Are the weapons period accurate, not incongruous? Do their laws make sense? Would you be able to maintain the governing body or system ruling the way that they do? Does it make sense? I try and look at things from every angle, and I find that a lot of modern writers don't even attempt to do that. Which is fine if you're making, like, let's say just a Black Mirror episode, which is exploring a proof of concept. But if you expect me to sort of invest my time, what is that little thing? Into, say, a full-length film or novel, there we go. Got it. Just 2 more to go. All I'm saying is, writers, please don't insult your audience's intelligence. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work going between his legs like that. I should just be letting him walk away. He's trying to walk away. Nailed it. First try. And it's very easy to just be like, the world building doesn't matter. It's about the journey that the characters go through, you know, the emotional journey or whatever. But why can't you have both? Why can't you have consistent world building, a good plot, and good characters? It just seems exceedingly rare in this day and age. The example I use a lot is Harry Potter, which really has atrocious world building. Alright, are you pumped? Are you ready to go walk into the light?
Looks like the runes have come to life. Energy from each island seems to be flowing upward.
Oh yeah. We put together the
Looks like
Infinity
that'll take you
Stones.
So up we go. I'll set up a teleportation point at the top. Why don't you come back to camp for a bit?
Hang on. You want me to go back to camp? I guess I should get a new reel of film. I'm just saying, if you're gonna tease me, take me all the way. All the way. But yeah, I'm not gonna go over the list of incongruities in Harry Potter, things that don't make sense, because that video would be hours long. I'm just gonna say, if people still like that series after all the sort of ridiculous changes and enhancements to the lore, all the, you know, quote-unquote canonical things like wizards vanish their poop with magic, more power to you. I'm not a hater. I used to be a huge fan of Harry Potter. I would line up to get those books. I used to write fan fiction for money. I'm not proud of it. But in my high school, some girls paid me to write their favorite pairings. I did it for fun, and for the practice, and for money, and for the attention. I'll admit it, the attention was kind of fun. But there comes a time in life where you put those things aside, where you quit watching Potter Puppet Pals for the 50th time, and start to read some actually great books. Some like consciousness-altering, life-changing books. Anyhow, let's see what they have to say.
Now then.
Ooh.
When we get there, the Pokemon just looks exactly like that. It's like this big, smudgy, blah, smoke monster from Lost.
Whatever.
I love that Phil has become completely resigned now at this point. Of course, Todd's there with his super glued on camera. That's just never leaving his hand. The camera stays on. Always. Yeah, hey, Todd, can I borrow your variable zoom real quick? You know, final mission and all that. Trying to get the best shot. Really appreciate having a decent camera. Options. Who's it gonna be?
Looks like that's the source of the reading, but it's very faint. What is that anyway?
Who's that
Incredible!
Pokemon?
This reading is off the charts.
It's Xerneas. Alright.
That was it. The final Illumina Pokemon we've been searching for.
And it's a ball.
Go get him.
Doesn't this turbo go any faster?
What would happen if you hit that glow with an Illumina orb?
This is like the slowest on-rail shooter ever. This is like if you were to play Star Fox 64, and instead of shooting lasers at your opponents, you're just like tossing softballs at him. Again, I apologize that my aim is so bad. I really appreciate you, Xerneas, for stopping for a photo session. It's much appreciated. No stress, final boss. I can dig it. Or is he the final boss? I bet you there's some like hidden unlockable Pokemon too. Another legendary. I wasn't planning on doing a post-game video, but if that's something that you would want me to do, please let me know in the comments. I've got other projects that I could work on. I'm going to review the Genki Shadowcast, or at least provide my impressions on it. I also have a couple of readings. I'm going to read Francis Brabazon's book, The Word at World's End. Goodbye, Xerneas. Now a tree.
What just happened?
Let's talk about it once you're back.
Your photos were so bad, you turned the Pokemon into a tree. You monster. You woke it up for no good reason. And now the next time that meteor hits, Xerneas isn't gonna have the power to protect the world against it. You've doomed all of humanity through your hubris. You thought you were gonna make some big breakthrough in science, while all you did was doom the entire planet. Good job, Professor Mayer. But hey, you got that data.
A new discovery.
Drawing closer to the center of an ancient mystery. Is there more? More to this story? Is it post-game content, DLC? It would be pretty easy to make DLC for this game. Just make a whole other island. Now, if there's DLC, I'll definitely make another video.
Wow. Well.
Nobody cares about your opinion, Phil.
No.
Well,
See? There we have it. I woke it up for no good reason. And the next
So-
time they need him, he's not gonna have the energy.
What?
Also,
Well...
Now, Professor, it's okay to say that you don't know.
Huh.
you guys get it, right?
Get what?
of course.
So obvious.
It's so simple. Do you really not know, Professor? Pokemon can tell when someone really loves them. And they return that love right back. Right?
Aww.
That must be from a study I haven't read yet.
We have got to get you out of the lab more often.
Professor Mirror, confirmed wizard. In the, virginal sense. I'm not sure if a lot of the kids are a little too young to get that. Just check out Know Your Meme. Type wizard virgin. You hit level 30 without, doing the deed, you're a wizard. Anyhow, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this playthrough of New Pokemon Snap. I welcome any comments, suggestions, complaints, flames. Would really appreciate a like and a subscribe if you could. I don't upload super often, so you won't be flooded with notifications. But I think I'm going to do more of these Let's Plays in the future. I already have a few videos on the back burner. As I mentioned before, I have a couple readings. I also really want to review Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I already have the video footage from that, actually. I really enjoyed that game. It makes a good companion piece to Breath of the Wild. Oh, I really like that photo of that Ledian. Trevenant. That's one of my favorite shots, Bulbasaur. Yeah, that forest is definitely one of my favorite levels. A few friends have asked me if I would recommend this game, and I really wasn't able to give a clear answer. I think it's a good experience to play through it. I just don't really know if I would pay full price. I guess it really depends on what you're looking for in a game, how much you love Pokemon. And if you don't mind the sort of, what I would say, subpar presentation, in terms of the lighting engine, the textures. I mean, on paper, it's a perfectly well-made game. The animations are really good. The music is memorable. It's got all these great interactions between Pokemon themselves, and there are a great many ways for you to interact with the Pokemon. You've got the Illumina Ball, the fruit, and the little song. So you feel like you're really like interacting one-on-one with them. So that's a lot of work to program all that. Despite the fact that the game is on rails, you know, you have to code in all the little interactions that they have. And how those interactions change over different like iterations of the stage, different levels. A lot of love and work and thought was put into this game. I can really respect that. But I kind of feel like, again, it's a situation where their reach exceeds their grasp. They could have had a little more of an adventure kind of feel to these levels, rather than a Safari on rails feel. Do you know what I mean? Just maybe a tad more interactivity. Maybe a tad few more Pokemon as well. But at what point are you asking for too much? If you love the original Pokemon Snap and you just want more of that, by all means, take the plunge and you're not going to be disappointed. But if replaying levels and taking photos of the same Pokemon over and over just to try and get that perfect photo, if that doesn't sound like a grind to you, if that sounds like something you would enjoy, then you're probably going to love this game. If you don't mind replaying the same levels until you can get all 4 of the star ratings, and you can see yourself devoting the time to do that, then yeah, you're probably really going to like it. I think when I beat this game, I had 166 out of 200 Pokemon registered to the photo decks. So I would still have 34 more Pokemon. Satoshi Tajiri. I think that's like the only time he was mentioned. Anyway, I still have 34 Pokemon left here. Now in my post-game playthroughs, I probably discovered a few more of them. So I can't recall exactly. Well, ain't that cute? They're like one big happy family.
Yep.
Every corner? Really? You aren't forgetting 1 or 2 DLC islands?
Professor,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
I remember.
How thoroughly you can research a course in a single outing?
by the way,
But there's like alternate pathways.
and
I guess that's part of the challenge. Which pathway provides a higher course score? Burst mode. Yeah, hey, thanks, Todd. A little too late for that. I guess they didn't want to make the game too easy.
Wow.
No, Phil, you can't go out on your own. You're gonna hurt yourself. Get back to work, slave.
Hey. Huh?
Alright, alright.
The reef in the evening. Heck yeah. If you want me to play that level and see the rest of the game,
Wow.
please, 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 please. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know. And I will be back booting up this game, taking more photos of Pokemon, sharing more experiences. I might talk about my trip to Japan. Alright, thank you so much for joining me, and have a great day.